portrait of the afterlife. And what's unique about it is out of the 40 books that Richard Matheson wrote, and he gave me permission, bless his heart, to use portions of it in my book, Universe of Worlds. And as a novelist, novelists never write a preface or, anything like that. And but in this one, he said, because what dreams may come, the subject is survival after death, it is essential that you realize before reading the story that only one aspect of it is fictional. The characters and their relationships. With few exceptions, every other detail is derived exclusively from research. He said, the books used for this research are many and diverse, yet despite their wide variation with regard to authors and times, there is a persistent, unavoidable uniformity to their content of the same theme of the dimensions of life after death. You would, of course, have to read them all to prove this to yourself, and I urge you to do so. You'll find it enlightening and an extraordinary experience. If you get the book for no other reason, get it for the bibliography at the end. All of my own experiences, my own research, and traveling with people that, as my father said, my youngest kid runs around with the dead people. Because I've had the privilege of sharing the platform with PMH Atwater and Dr. George Ritchie, whose extraordinary near-death experiences have literally changed our lives, because the greatest fear Americans have, well, actually, number 2, fear of death. The number 1 fear Americans have is fear of public speaking. People would rather die than do what I'm doing right now. But what is interesting is the prophecy that was fulfilled in so many people when George Ritchie came forward and was talking about his near-death experience in the 1960s on the campus of the University of Virginia, about his extraordinary experience when he died from pneumonia in 1942. And unlike a lot of near-death experiences, he was shown the different dimensions and realms that souls pass to. And just as we all have unique lives that no two people have the same experience, we can be born into the same family, the same household, but our perception of this life is uniquely our own. So in that light, our passage to the other side will also be uniquely our own experience. Yes, just like we all come into the earth the same way, the environment that we're born into, though, the parents we have, the place that we live, the friends that we make, that is our own unique experience. So in that, Mr. Casey said, the time will come, he said, when there will be no more death, when death shall be no more. He said, do not misunderstand nor misinterpret. The interpretation of death will be made plain. And that was in 1932, and I thought, the interpretation of death will be made plain. And I thought, PMH Atwater, Raymond Moody, Dr. George Ritchie, Richard Matheson, what dreams may come. Death used to be referred to as that mysterious place from which no traveler returns to tell the tale. How grim and dramatic. Well, come to find out, it's not shadowy at all. Well lit, plenty of guides, with much better directions than my trek here this morning. In What Dreams May Come, the main character, Chris Nielsen, is killed in an automobile accident. And as happens in a number of cases, it takes a while to realize that any change has taken place. I'm reminded of a man who had a near-death experience. He had a heart attack, and he's, walking to the office, and suddenly he hears all this activity and whatnot, and he looks behind him, and there's this man who's fallen to the sidewalk, and he goes, oh, gosh, he puts his briefcase down, and he's
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.